Hi there, I'm Pete Scargill. Those of you who know me know that I use Node.red frequently, and that I have done various blog entries on installing this on the Raspberry Pi. I'm going to give you all the links you need within this video. However, for those of you who want to quickly dive in and see what Node.red is all about, if you look at the address here, pagenodes.com, this is a means of instantly experimenting with Node-RED on your PC or Mac or whatever without any installation or any work whatsoever. Simply go to the site and Node-RED will pop up. This is pretty much like what your installation will look like, except that you'll have a lot more nodes. Nodes are those items on the left. So I'm going to just give you some very simple examples of what you might do with this, just to get your interest up, basically. So you can see here we have sheet 1. Over on the right, we can create more sheets, in which you put a flow, what we call a flow. So I can drag, for example, and inject timestamp node onto the screen there. I can drag a debug node. I'm deliberately not going into detail as to what these are at this point. And I can connect them together just by dragging the mouse across. So what's that going to do? Click on deploy. You see this window on the right, the debug window. We have an information window that tells you about the different nodes and what they do. And we have a debug window. And this message payload item here is a debug output. So if I click on the timestamp over on the right, we're going to see a timestamp appear. It really is that easy. So that's not a great deal of use, is it? What else could we do with this? Well, if we double click on the timestamp, just for example, or we can change what it outputs to a string. And the string might be hello world. Deploy. Now that's available. And there is hello world on the right. Okay, I'm going to show you a different example. I'm going to take the eSpeak module. I'm going to delete that and put the eSpeak module there. And lo and behold,
hello world. Hello world.
Instant speech. Now, this is just an example. I'll give you another one. Let's take a range control. Now, let's say that we have a light whose value can be 0 to 255, depending on whether it's off or full. But you want to input a range of values of 0 to 99, in other words, 100%. How would you do that in Node-RED? Well, let's pretend that the debug output is actually an output to control a light, and there are such things in Node-RED. We're going to join the range to there, we're going to join hello world to there. In a hello world, we want 0 to 99. Let's say we're going to put 45 in there. So when you click on the button, you get 45 going into range. So we're going to map the range from 0 to 99 to 0 to 255. It is that simple. And now when we run this, deploy, I'm just going to empty that debug box. And we send 45 out. We get 115 out, which is the value mapped to 0 to 255. Because we don't want all those floating point numbers, so we click round result to the nearest integer. That's by double-clicking range. And now we get an integer out. If we change that value, and run, we get 26 out there. So as you'll see, there are, I mean, here we have what, a dozen or so different nodes. On my installation, there would be 5 times that amount, and you can get new nodes for free from the web. All you would normally do is install Node-RED on a gadget, let's say a Raspberry Pi or your PC, and then use it to control stuff. It is ultra reliable. Although this is a visual interface, this is just the editing side. You don't need to have the browser on normally for this to be running. And on a Raspberry Pi, for example, I have a series of these flows controlling my central heating and lighting on the Pi with no visual interface whatsoever. I only bring up the web interface if I'm going to actually do some editing of the system. So this is a great way to program, and you can make really complex programs. And amazingly, on the Pi, which isn't that powerful, they still run. So all sorts of opportunities here. I suggest you go to the Node-RED site itself, which is node.red.org, where you'll find out everything you could possibly want to know about Node-RED. If that's not good enough for you, go to my blog, which is http://techscargill.net. Not only will you find videos on the subject, but you'll find a whole range of articles on IoT and, in fact, on Node-RED itself. All I can suggest is that you, if you do go to my site, just type in Node-RED and you'll find plenty of articles on the subject. Have fun with this instant Node-RED and then take a look at the real thing. Thanks.